Hello everybody, welcome back to Gaming Input. I'm Marky, and I know it's been a while since we've uploaded, just got a lot of real life stuff going on, but I figured I'd take the opportunity to at least put something together. I recently watched the recently released Nintendo Direct, got up at 7 a.m. to watch it, and I figured I'd give some of my impressions. I listed down everything that was announced, and some things will be quicker than others. I know there's some things I want to give my general opinion of, and I think at the end I'm going to probably wrap up on my thoughts on the Switch in general. Because obviously this Direct is going to set up the essential holiday season for the Nintendo in general in order to compete with what's going on. But I'll get into more detail about it later. So without further ado, let's just dive into what was announced for this Direct. First one was a bit of an interesting surprise, although at the end it wound up not giving us too much different information, which was the update on the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. At least the two ones coming in fall and winter, which is still quite a ways away. So they're probably just going to keep the game around through these basic events. They did announce one that's taking place right after, which is nice. The Gimme Ghoul event, but we now have at least a little bit of confirmation. I don't know. I'm not actually quite sure if there was anything really new about what was going on. Heck, the previous trailer before all this told us the names of these Pokemon, and we actually got really nothing aside from that. Just the fact that it's coming, which I guess was fine. They didn't spend too much time on it, I don't think so. Moving on, I guess. This one was talked about at the previous, at the Summer Games Fest. That was what it was, but I figured I'd give my opinion on it anyway. Considering I'm a massive Sonic fan, Sonic Superstars is actually looking to be pretty cool. With Sonic Origins Plus being updated to include Amy, and this one now including Classic Amy as well, I just like the kind of retroactive adding of this character, because she's shown in a lot of material in general. So I figured it should at least be getting her due when it comes to being playable. So I'm completely down for it. I'm completely excited. Just a classic 2D option, and being able to use the Chaos Emeralds to provide different powers is, I think, actually a really nice take. We've only just seen the Emeralds do, go super or teleport, but seeing what these are able to do and what other different powers will be available would be nice. I think the only thing I'm not sure on is, I guess, the size of the game. It is being sold at $60. So I hope it has a decent amount of zones. Not saying, it's worth the not worth the replaying. I just want to see what kind of content in there would justify a game like this being $60. Which, obviously, not to talk it down, of course, 2D platformers are strong, and it's, they have their own charm to them. But obviously, when it comes to selling it to general audiences, I don't know what would need to be added in order to convince people to drop that kind of money instead of dropping like a 40 or 30 for things like Sonic Origins Plus, But either way, I'm still very, very excited on it. The visual styles look extremely great. Everybody looks cute, chibi, and very well put together. And I'm just happy that they're not going to be doing Green Hill and Chemical Plant for the millionth time. So hey, it's all a win for me regardless. The next one was Palia, a free-to-play adventure MMO. I don't know, it's just advertising kind of the farm-ish, but going out and hunting for creatures and items, except you can do it with a couple of friends. And I guess the concept is novel, because there's been a lot of farming games that have been coming out ever since Animal Crossing's kind of kicked off the market, so to speak, at least for the Switch. So seeing Palia here, it looks pretty basic, but hopefully some good can come of it, and maybe people can find a new hidden gem here. Another one is another game that was talked about earlier, but it's Persona 5 Tactica. And my general opinion on it is kind of mixed, more than the fact that I haven't beat Persona 5 Strikers. And obviously, I love Persona 5 Royal. They're fantastic. I think I'm just sitting on the side of I guess they're gonna keep making these side games for it, huh? And I don't want to be too cynical in the fact that I want to say that it might water down these characters so much, because obviously the visual style is very different, and it's a turn-based tactical title, meaning more like Persona Fire Emblem. And we're just more like taking the Persona 5 characters and seeing what genre we can put them in this time. Not that it's bad, and I'm sure it'll be a pretty solid title. I guess I'm just curious. I don't know. I guess I always feel like this Persona game should lead to something or another, or maybe just a straight Persona 6. But I don't want to be those people who are always clamoring for something every 7 or 8 years. I actually don't know how long it'll be before we see a 6th entry. So I guess we're going to be looking at Persona 5 side games for a while, and while I do love the characters and the concept and story of the main game, I guess we'll see what any of these ones offer in return. Another one was Myth Force, and I guess it's Saturday Cartoon Looter. I actually kind of like the style here. Definitely inspired by He-Man, Thundercats, and all that other stuff. While I personally didn't really watch them too much growing up, I obviously know their aesthetic and I know their style. And it looks like I guess maybe like a dungeon looter, kind of like a team-based game, of course, which, hey, I mean, having those indie titles kind of fill in that niche for some people, and if there's people who are really into that kind of retro stuff, I can definitely see this taking off. So, hey, best of hope for it. Another random one was a Splatfest announcement for Splatoon 3. I honestly thought they'd be talking about some more DLC stuff, especially that side order thing they were talking about. But no, we just got to talk about the Splatfest, which is ice cream flavored. Vanilla, strawberry, and mint. And I'm already kind of annoyed because I will be picking mint, and I already know it's going to lose. I've already seen the internet discourse. I guess there seems to be this group against mint chocolate, so I guess I'm gonna have an uphill battle on it. But hey, I'm sticking with it because I'd rather support the one that I truly care about than, I guess, going vanilla. I don't know. Can't really see myself being a big fanboy for vanilla straight, but hey, we'll see how it goes in July. An interesting surprise. There was actually 2 surprises in a row, which was Detective Pikachu Returns. Spoiler alert, I have not played Detective Pikachu, the first one. So, but I did watch the movie, and I'm not sure if the story was taking direct inspiration from that, so I don't know. But it is nice to see this, in the fact that I could have sworn they were talking about Detective Pikachu on the Switch in some capacity. I think people thought we were remaking the first one, but hey, I mean, if this one seems to be interesting, I don't really know what the gameplay is, honestly. I've never done any research into Detective Pikachu, but it might be paving the way at least for a second movie. But I'm down to pick this up. It's right in October, early October. So, hey, a detective game, and while I'm not too familiar with them, I'd love to give this one a shot, just because the Pokemon world's always interesting. Different things other than an RPG in Pokemon seem to have a lot of charm to them, I've noticed. So, all aboard for it. And one of the big announcements, this was the big one for a lot of people. We have Super Mario RPG. The second I saw it, I went, okay, Super Mario RPG on Switch Online, if it's not on there already. But no, big HD star sprinkles in, and we now have a full-on HD remake, which I think is the perfect way to go. We now have the chibi art style, which I think translates well. And what I think was interesting about RPG is all the interesting characters, which, according to some discourse, obviously, I just want to see interesting characters, and Super Mario RPG was full of them. Heck, we have Geno representation now in one way or another. There's 1,000 Geno accounts and 1,000 Geno fans that jumped up in joy. It's a remake, but hey, it's more Geno, which means we need to pay attention to it if we want more Geno, but I guess we'll see. This collaboration with Nintendo and Square, it's not the first time, of course. I can't wait to see how it's going to go. I mean, I don't think there's going to be anything really new thrown in or planned. I saw Birdo in the trailer, but can't remember if Birdo was in the original game. I'm sadly not too wrapped up in all of Mario RPG. I might need to replay it, honestly. Or I just wait for this. I mean, this is coming, so... And it looks pretty faithful, and I'm completely down for it. More comedic Bowser is always good. Next, we had 2, I guess, announcements, even though, you know, they're very, very light on what they are, which is the Peach standalone game. No title, something involving the dress, something next year, which I'll get to at the end. But, okay, I'm down. A completely Peach-centric game. We haven't seen one since the DS, so let's see how it goes. Another one was Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, not a remake, I guess just an HD version of it, which, okay, I'm down for. I know there was some concern about, you know, the mission focus for this title, but I never really played it all the way through, so I'm down to do it again. I don't know if there's anything involving the control scheme, or maybe some quality of life changes when it comes to the gameplay loop, which I think the jumping in and out of missions was kind of like a sore spot for a lot of people. Just leaving, going back, leaving, going back. They could update this so that you can tackle multiple missions in one go. That'd be pretty cool if they can, you know, I guess flow that right. Make sure it's just not something you can blitz in 20 minutes. But, you know, all peeled because this is coming 2024, so we'll see a little bit more info on it, because obviously the footage is just from the 3DS version, so hey, my eyes and ears are peeled. Now back, they went through a few more highlights. Batman Arkham Collection, a nice go. I was seeing the trailer footage, of course. They worked hard, I think, to scramble these games, especially things like Arkham Knight, onto the Switch. The performance is probably looking a little wonky, but hey, more games in more places is always good. I'm sure there's people interested in playing this again and having the option to do it on the go. The novelty would probably still be there. Gloomhaven, tactical card RPG based on a board game I know nothing about. Looks fine. Tactical card RPGs haven't been my thing, but I'm sure there's people looking at it and smiling all the same. So hey, good on them. Another one, Just Dance. Never played it. I know songs. I do know what songs are though, believe it or not. And I saw some I recognize in that list for the 2024 edition. Another thing I was curious about, if anybody is familiar with Just Dance in the comments, do they keep, when they're saying like additions, as opposed to I guess a full new game, but probably a full new game, are you able to get the songs from the old Just Dance games on there so that each new iteration just kind of adds to the library? Is that a thing? If so, really cool. If not, it's kind of a bummer. I just love comprehensive collections. So if Just Dance does that, good on it. But I don't play it, so good on you for everybody else who's playing it. Another one was Silent Hope, a RPG, I guess, but a dungeon crawler, I guess, more like. It's a randomized dungeon. As soon as they said that, random areas down below that you have to hunt for, I went, oh, okay. So I know what we're getting at to. Go back to the surface, get your materials, and build an area above, and keep going back down for more loot. The story seems to involve something a little bit more meatier from Xseed Games. Kind of interesting. I don't know if I'll be messing with it too much, but hey, that kind of style at least is big with Diablo 4 right now, so maybe somebody will get some runoff from that. Next was Fae Farm, which I know they talked about at Summer Games Fest already. It was a Switch exclusive, timed, but it's going to be coming to PC as well. And it's another farmer/adventure title. If you have friends, worth playing. If you have that Animal Crossing kick, we can keep it going with this. So, cool. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2. Okay, I did play Hot Wheels Unleashed because actually we were talking about it being a pretty good title. And I played it for a good while. So I'm actually excited for this. Maybe not on the Switch though. I do have other options to play Hot Wheels Unleashed 2. So we'll see how it goes. It is one of those games for me that I guess when it comes out, I'll give it a wait. Maybe till it hits on sale and then grab it there. And they are big on DLC and collaborations too, so maybe something will just need to grab my attention before I really play it. But I'm pretty invested, or at least when it comes to the gameplay. I know it looks like it's pretty good, because the first one played pretty well. It's a fun game. Very Forza Arcade was kind of what I called it, but obviously not too realistic, of course. I'm down. Next is Manic Mechanics, which was, I guess, Overcooked, but with mechanics. I don't know the studio, I don't know if it's the same one, but if you played Overcooked, this is just that, but we're putting together cars. So cool on you. Wacky gimmicks and probably a heck of a lot of fun with 4 players. And a small bit about another DLC pack for Mario and Rabbids called the Spark Hunter. And I know during the Ubisoft Forward, they put up a little teaser of Rayman, which is coming after this one, I believe. And while I haven't finished Mario and Rabbids yet, I think I've got time, because they're still adding the DLC, and I'd like to tackle it in one go. I'm more obviously excited for the Rayman stuff and what the context will be for that. I saw the mechanical King Bob-omb, but I'm excited. I'm a sucker for little references. I'm completely down for it. So if Sparks of Hope, the base game, doesn't kick my butt enough, maybe this one will. So eyes peeled. And this one didn't even get like a highlight introduction, but it was Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince. And I guess its concept is Pokemon? You're capturing the monsters and fusing them. I like the fusing part. That seems pretty cool. Especially since I was messing with Pokemon Infinite Fusion recently. I noticed when I was watching this, where I'm like, oh, Dragon Quest, because I played 11, and I did Heroes 2 a little bit, but I'm obviously not, that's it, I'm not wrapped up in Dragon Quest. And I was actually kind of using this trailer as a test to see if this would get me interested to play. Like, has Dragon Quest 11, it was very good, don't get me wrong, but did it hook me into Dragon Quest? And I think so far my answer is kind of maybe. The game is interesting. I don't know if I think I'd be more paying attention to the RPG lineups. Maybe I just need to have a few more under my belt before I can officially call myself a Dragon Quest fan, so I could wrap myself in on these spin-offs, but it was just fine. I don't think I'll be getting this one, but I mean, Dragon Quest fans, I want to say are eating good. We're hoping for the Dragon Quest, 3? The HD 2D remake they talked about. I think people are more excited about that one. So while these spin-off games are good, and I know that a lot of them are addicting, hopefully the RPGs can get a little bit more updates as time goes on. And then their big talk, which I'll spend a decent amount of time on, is Pikmin IV. Kind of the concept of what you're doing, which is rescuing crewmates and fixing your own ship. Pretty traditional. The differences that I noticed was the 2-player mode, which I'm not sure about, in the fact that it's part of the story, but do you need a second player? My assumption is that you'll be able to do that stuff and it'll be a computer-controlled person you compete against. But I guess you have the option to do a second player if you want, because I'm not sure how that plays in. The story is actually a little bit more involved this time from what I'm seeing, and the fact that you rescuing crewmates allows you to essentially have a little base of things to do to upgrade the Ochi dog character, to upgrade certain aspects of your suit or whatever. I haven't seen all of it, of course, but seeing what all these castaways can do obviously unlock different functions, and I'm actually down for that, to see how interesting of a gameplay loop where they're really kind of playing into that. I guess, once again, a Diablo-style dungeon crawler. Especially with the camera angle being so low, I'm actually really interested in that kind of gameplay when it comes to your visualization of the map. And the return of, essentially, like, deep dives or dungeons in Pikmin 2 is really interesting as well. And yeah, it talks about gathering the stuff. You saw them gathering little glow things, and I saw that became a currency to use for once you rescue the right castaway, my bad. So there's a little bit more meat on the bone for this one, as opposed to just cycling or keeping the days going by. They didn't mention anything about a time limit. They didn't mention anything about you needing to stay alive. It'd probably be the case you are collecting fruit in addition to treasure. The night expeditions were also one of the bigger, reveals of it, in the fact that I think you're not using any of your Pikmin, since I know the rule is that they can't really hang around or survive well at night. But the glow Pikmin will be helping you, and I really like the design of these guys, the little cute ghosts that you can apparently swarm together and attack a monster if you need to. Hey, more stuff to do in these Pikmin games I think is worth it, because I think they're really putting a lot behind what Pikmin 4 should be when it comes to a holiday time. We'll get more into the holidays later on at the Direct, but this one, they really want you to be like, hey, we had Pikmin 3, which we knew was a Wii U game, and there was a good amount to do on it, but I feel like they needed more content, so to speak. So we got night expeditions, we got dungeons back, we have essentially a home base system going on, the dog abilities. There's going to be a lot, and I hope the maps can accommodate all this stuff, like, to a decent degree, where you're not using a gimmick once or twice and calling it a day. So I'm actually really excited. I've been excited for Pikmin 4, but this one kind of kept me in a good mood for it. Nothing that should be too concerning for the sake of the release. So hey, July should be pretty fun. And a nice surprise, Pikmin 1 and 2 are now available starting today on the eShop in a nice HD widescreen version. I'm extremely excited, believe it or not, because ever since the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC wrapped up, I felt, it's nice having a whole series on one system, isn't it? I think a lot of people take that for granted. And obviously, I'm not saying Pikmin 4 is the final one, but at least as of right now, Pikmin 1, 2, 3, 4 on a one system to just enjoy. I am completely down for that. And these random shadow drops are really great. The Metroid Prime was a great one, and Pikmin 1 and 2 are great. More GameCube shadow drops, please. Custom Robo, I'm looking right at you. And we've got another previous announcement, which is being updated just to be on the Switch, which is the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection, Volume 1, which, while Metal Gear announcements I've been waiting a lot for, just not having the guy behind it not around for it just kind of feels weird. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't be too invested in the fact that these are just re-releases, and they did say that they are going to be updated with things, because obviously a lot of the games involve elements outside of the base game itself, like looking at the CD case or checking the rumble on a control, stuff like that. I hope, and they said that things will, be more integrated, so that way you can kind of enjoy it that way without having to jump through too many hoops. I think they're great. I love seeing these games back again. And the funny part is, obviously, being Volume 1, there will be a Volume 2. And I think a lot of people it's been forever since it's locked on one system, Metal Gear Solid 4. And I think it's just kind of funny to me that once Volume 2 comes out, this will also be on the Switch as well. And I just think it's funny we went from however many years of this game locked on PS3 to now be available everywhere, including the Switch. I just think it's funny. I like playing the image in my head of somebody sitting on a bus and just like playing Metal Gear Solid 4 on their Switch or Steam Deck or whatever, and going through what that game has to offer, which, if you don't know, this is a great opportunity to play these games. If you have not messed with these, definitely do it. These games are fantastic. They hold up very well, and the story is something so bonkers. That's all I'll say. So yes, I'm excited to see this. I just think it's funny picturing in my head Metal Gear Solid 4 on the Nintendo Switch. Just a fun thing here. And in my eyes, a small update here. Vampire Survivors coming to the Switch. Very cool. I know Vampire Survivors. I've been having a lot of fun with it on my Steam Deck. Sank a lot of unhealthy time into it. And I know it just recently hit, I believe, Android and iOS. So having another platform for it is great. The game is a very big success for having a, I guess, auto-attacking... I don't know what to classify it as. I guess not really an idle game, since you do have to interact and move with it. It's an action game, just one where you don't control the attacks. If that sounds interesting, it's worth doing. Got a big Castlevania vibe, which is nice, but obviously the gameplay is not Castlevania-ish, really. It's worth playing. You'll find it very addicting. And having it on the Switch, just one more platform for it, so good on them. Random as Hell, a pigeon music game. Headbangers Rhythm Royale. I like the concept. While battle royales are getting, we're trying to find different methods to incorporate battle royales. Rhythm games are fun and exciting to me. I like the concept of playing things to the beats or mimicking notes and such like that to the point where you're the last one standing. The actual idea seems pretty cool. The aesthetic of it, I'm just kind of whatever on. The pigeons look like elongated beans from Fall Guy. I don't want to talk too much bad about the game. The game concept I think is really interesting. I'm really excited for it. I will probably play it. I just wish the aesthetic was a little bit more pleasing to me. It doesn't feel... It's a certain wacky vibe that I guess I'm not wrapped up in. I'm not a big pigeon guy, so... I like the concept, and I'm interested to play it. I just wonder if that novelty will hold me over, since the aesthetics probably won't. And one that became a big surprise for me was Penny's Big Breakaway. This is from the Sonic Mania team, or I guess now called Evening Star Studios, which I now realize I need to keep an eye on. Because this team made something that I think is really cool. I looked at it first and it went, oh, a 3D platformer. I'm always down for those. But then it had little, as soon as they said the team behind Sonic Mania, and you see the character do like a yo-yo roll up an incline, I went, yep, that's a Sonic game. Maybe a 3D-ish Sonic game. Obviously, I don't want to generalize it too bad, but it looks like a nice mixture. It even had modes that encourage speedrunning, so which means probably a variety of movements, and then you could see that in the gameplay too. A variety of movements that can encourage you to play things at a fast pace or in a most efficient way. And cracking that code on a game is, I think, one of the best feelings in the world. So this game is definitely on my list to grab. And an as expected update, Mario Kart Wave 5. I think there's one more after this. Yeah, 6 waves. I was kind of hoping a shadow drop, to be honest. But I know they have technically till the end of this year to make do on 2 more waves of DLC. So this one just showing the one new track, so we don't know which retro tracks are available. I hope not all of them are Mario Kart Tour. But anyway, Squeaky Clean Sprint is a new track, a Squeaky Clean Sprint themed track. It's a bathroom cleaning equipment. I don't know. It's a soapy track. Let's call it that. The big hype was characters, which I know people were looking at now that they added a new character in the wave in the pack before, is that we now have room for more. And the 3 here were pretty much as, I think, I'm not sure what I'd expect, because I think a lot of people were hoping for big things. I don't think we're seeing Geno here, but Petey Piranha, Wiggler, and Kamek. And they're each from their respective games. I guess the ones that they start in. So I think I'm going to keep an eye out for any exclusive characters that are in the 3DS or whatever versions that might be available there. I know you can play as the Bee from Mario Galaxy, right? I'm actually kind of still playing through Mario Kart 7 to kind of see what it got. If they give me the Bee, I don't know if that'll be hype worthy. But hey, it's aiming for summer, so I'm actually more curious to see. I want more Double Dash tracks, honestly, so we'll see what retro tracks they're going to add in. Now here's one that I wasn't sure of, but I think I'm starting to follow the trend, and I think I'm actually getting excited for it. This is Star Ocean: The Second Story R. It's a remake. I don't know next to nothing about Star Ocean, so be that as it may. Once they showed me the pixel style, and I got to see how it looks, and just I realized I'm really falling for this 2D HD style, and I really want more of it, to the point where this game, while its story seems pretty fine, I'm sure it's going to be fine. A lot of those big Star Ocean, or a lot of those big like Japanese RPGs are, have pretty interesting stories and concepts to them. It's the gameplay, or it's the look of it that I think really sucks me into it. And now I am actually interested. I want to play this. And I don't know if this is a thing where I need to worry about the first one or the one after or whatever when it comes to Star Ocean, so I guess I'll do my research on that. Or if any of you want to let me know in the comments, hey, I'm down for it. But hey, this one's on my radar now. I'm keeping an eye on it, so we'll see. Next one is a series I don't really know a lot of. I know it's popular, and I hope this one kind of keeps the momentum going. It's WarioWare Move It, and it's WarioWare. More mini games. Looks like some references to Pikmin and other stuff in Mario. That's nice. That's cute. And hey, more movement with the Joy-Cons, so definitely more novel fun. Don't think I'll be getting it, but we'll see. Yeah, WarioWare, just more of it. They had a little update on the Nintendo Live Seattle event. I don't know really anything about those events, but they host a lot of tournaments. I wonder how those tournaments are, the Splatoon, Smash Brothers ones, and Amiibo tournaments. I kind of want to see how those go. I don't think I'll be able to get to Seattle to just see that, so either way, nice to see. A lot of people were expecting Tears of the Kingdom DLC, which I don't think I was really putting on my bingo card, but I kind of was expecting this, which was the Zelda and Ganondorf Amiibo announcements. Figured they were coming. I think there was some leaks about unknown Amiibo data, so it's to be expected, especially with the reception that Ganondorf has been getting in certain circles. So hey, these Amiibo are exciting, and I'm down for it. And the final thing for the Direct, which was their big title, is Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and it's a 2D style game where you get to play the traditional Mario gameplay. The twist is that it is, I guess, wacky visuals. What I really loved about this was the visual style. Once I saw that it was going to be a 2D Mario, I went, oh no. And honestly, I'm glad they did it in the way where they showed these new visuals that look a lot more expressive and really interesting. And then their logo was the same font and style as the new Super Mario Bros. Series, which has seen a lot of entries. So I'm glad this is in that vein. This is a new traditional straight Mario game in that style, but now visually looks a lot different and a lot more expressive, and I think it looks fantastic. And the fun thing about it is that it's got the trippy designs, which they get to play a lot more with it. So things like the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze levels and even like Rayman Legends, I think they looked at this and went, okay, Mario kind of needs a little bit more oomph to it. We can't, because it's got all the same hallmarks. Your 4-player co-op, Daisy's playable, big push for Daisy fans, and we can't just do the multiplayer. We can't just give us the same Mario levels. And while it might be the case, desert, grass, ice, the usual stuff, the Wonder Flower and those level designs and what happens to the level when you do that, that's where I think it's going to shine. And you're going to start seeing a lot more charm and a lot more endearing qualities about this Mario game. So I'm completely down for it. The elephant transformation, whatever. I know that means Peach, Daisy, Toad, Luigi, they can all be elephants. That's going to be a big thing for some fans. And honestly, this is a nice big announcement. This is definitely going to be a big seller for holiday people. Well, I'm not speaking as an investor or anything. I just mean this is going to be a strong one for the holiday season. Which kind of leads to my ending talk on the Switch in general. Now, I know, in my eyes, I feel that we're due for now an updated, or at least a new generation of Nintendo systems. We're now about to hit 8 years next March. And I just can't really see this system going that far. Now, there is kind of signs of this, and I'm not saying, I'll say this before, I don't want to downplay Super Mario Bros. Wonder, or really even Pikmin 4. I have no disrespect or anything on those. Those look to be fantastic, and they look like they're having a lot of effort put into them. All I know is that in my eyes, it feels like a 2D Mario game for your holiday is kind of the definition of a safe bet. And Tears of the Kingdom is out and rolling through, and I think it can roll through any holiday season in general. And obviously a company is not going to be like, well, we're going to stop. We don't have anything big, because we're in between systems. They're never going to do that. So there's going to be stuff that's going to come out, but nothing that's really going to, I think, blow your mind. And that's what we're seeing with Pikmin and with Mario. The last thing to really do that to you was Tears of the Kingdom, which is kind of a sign that I think I mean, obviously the Peach standalone game and the Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon remake, they're the only things that I think were announced for next year, at least straight from Nintendo. And those projects on their own, I don't think will hold, you know, the attention for the next year, at least depending on when they come out. So the Switch, I think, is kind of just, a lot of people have been saying this, I think it's kind of more on its way out. Now, my dream goal is that there would be a system past the Switch that allows you to use your Switch games and maybe gives them a performance boost or something like that. Because I know, especially with things like Pokemon and such, I think the games are getting too big for this kind of system, you know? And one thing, if there's one thing I would credit Nintendo for, it's being ambitious with their titles. And I think a lot of people just want to hope, myself included, that the tech can match that. Well, I know we'd all want a Nintendo system. Oh, it's stronger than the PS5, so, and all your Switch games work on it, and it gives them the performance boost for 4K and 60 frames and everything. Obviously, that's a pipe dream for me, just from what Nintendo has shown themselves to be for their, you know, going forward. I just want something that should be able to, I want basically something that will allow me to use my Switch games and hopefully give them a performance boost. I'm pretty much down for anything after that when it comes to whatever new system. Although I think it is time for a new system, and this Direct is kind of a representation of that, I'd say. A pretty strong one. So, this is not going to be the only thing, I feel. I think Nintendo might be throwing in some teases starting now. I didn't think they were going to do any during this Direct. Maybe Game Awards or something like that, where we're going to start talking about what's happening for the Switch or whatever's in the future for it. And those games, the Peach, the Luigi one, they might come out early next year, my hope. And we get something that feeds into the new ecosystem that they. So just a little bit of thoughts here and there. I hope I kind of put my thoughts together. I'm still trying to get better at this whole YouTube thing, but hey, I appreciate you guys listening through to the end. If you have, please subscribe, like, and comment. We are going to be posting a little bit more. Like I said in the beginning, we have a lot of life stuff kicking in at the moment. I want to be better with this content in general and throw more opinions out there to you guys, so that way I want to keep you guys informed, and I like talking to you guys. While my words may not come out perfect, I really want to keep conversation going, because this is just exciting stuff in general, and keeping everybody up to date and communicating in this ecosystem is really fun to me. So hey, like I said, subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate you guys listening to the very end. At 300 subscribers, we are doing a giveaway, $10 of each one of Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation to one lucky subscriber. So please, if you want to jump in, we are very close. And I will see you guys in the next video real soon.